A horrific hate crime video from Muzaffarnagar in Uttar Pradesh has shocked India. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. We're here today to talk about a school teacher called Tripta Tyagi. This teacher, who is meant to foster a spirit of equality and compassion and equality in her classroom, did exactly the opposite. On camera, Miss Tyagi can be seen exhorting students of her class to actually hit and slap their classmate. The classmate happens to be an 8-year-old child, a Muslim student. Why am I mentioning the religion of the child, you might ask? Why am I communalizing it, you may allege? However, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why mentioning the religion of the child is critical. Because in the same video, the school teacher actually makes a reference to Muslims. She uses the word Mohammadan, an old style word to reference the Muslim community. And in fact, when a child tentatively hits the classmate in question, she says, Zor se maro, ye kya mara hai, zor se maro. All of this is caught on camera. The child is crying. In the background, you can hear the sound of another man who's not identified laughing. You may wonder why we're not showing you this video. India's child rights body has asked the media not to show this video at all to protect the identity of the child. This is the reason why, although we have a statement from the father on camera, we've also had to hide his identity, but we will bring to you the main points of what the father has said. Now, the father in the last few hours has told news agency ANI that he thinks that it would have been all right if the teacher herself had slapped the child or had deputed somebody else of authority, a position of authority to slap the child. But he says my child has been tortured. At the same time, he has given a statement saying, ये हिंदू मुस्लिम मामला नहीं है, यहाँ पे शांति है, यहाँ माहौल ठीक है. So the parent himself is not making this about his child's religion. But the video clearly does show that the teacher is mentioning one community by name. Let's introduce our guests on the program today as we look at this horrific video, bone-chilling video, especially when you think about the fact that it involves a school teacher. Rahul Ishwar is on the program with us. He's a political commentator. He calls himself a philosophical thinker. He's a fan of the Prime Minister, but on Twitter today, he's urged the Prime Minister to take the harshest action or to ensure that the harshest action is taken against the teacher who is responsible for this hate crime. Also joining us is veteran police officer, former Director General Police of Uttar Pradesh, Arvind Kumar Jain. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you. Also joining us on the program is India's most respected child rights activist. She's been the former chairperson of the NCPCR, that's the child rights body. Shanta Sinha is with us. Thank you, ma'am. And also joining us is political analyst and commentator Asad Abbas. Always a pleasure, Asad. Like I said, my hands are actually tied here. I cannot show the video, but I would like to play out a statement of the UP police. I found this statement also quite extraordinary. This is the police explaining their initial finding. Now, look, the prosecution is on. The teacher is being acted against, so that has to be said. But this is what the UP police says. The teacher explained, this is the explanation given for why the teacher said what she did. Listen in.
आज थाना मंसूरपुर पुलिस को सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से एक वीडियो का संज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ है, जिसमें एक महिला टीचर द्वारा एक बच्चे को टेबल याद नहीं करने पर उसी क्लास के अन्य बच्चों के द्वारा मार लगवाई जा रही है एवं वीडियो में कुछ आपत्तिजनक टिप्पणी भी की जा रही है। इस आपत्तिजनक टिप्पणी के संबंध में गहनता से जांच की गई एवं स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल से बात की गई तो ये तथ्य प्रकाश में आया है कि महिला टीचर द्वारा ये डिक्लेयर किया गया कि जिन मोहम्मदन बच्चों की माँ बच्चों की पढ़ाई पर ध्यान नहीं देती है, उन बच्चों की पढ़ाई का नाश हो जाता है। जो वीडियो बना रहा शख्स जो है उसकी पुष्टि करता है। इसके संबंध में बीएसए को भी अवगत करा दिया गया है और जो मारपीट जो बच्चों के द्वारा की जा रही है, इसके संबंध में उस संबंधित टीचर के खिलाफ विभागीय कार्यवाही अमल में लाई जाएगी।
So let me just translate that. The police officer is saying that after initial investigation, it has been found that the child who's being slapped could not remember his maths tables. So he's being slapped. And there is a comment made in the police explanation that the teacher wanted to say that Mohammedan mothers, i.e. Muslim mothers who neglect the homework, the studies of their children are hurting their children's interests. So there is a religious community taken by name even in this explanation. I must start with Shanta Sinha. Ma'am, let me first ask you, do you agree with the instruction, the mandate from the child rights body to the media that this video must not be shown? We understand, of course, the need to protect the child's identity. The child must be absolutely traumatized, and we are respecting that instruction and not showing the video. Would that have been your instruction as well?
I'm afraid, yes, because that is what the law says. That is what I mean is a internationally accepted norm that you cannot show a child victim in the media. So, although in this circumstance, in this kind of political environment that we are in, to raise the debate, to visualize the problem, one may have to. But I think in the long run, it's uh, quite justifiable that a child is protected and not shown in the media, because it can hit him while he grows up. It can be replayed. He may have moved on in his life. The other children who have beaten him up also may have moved on and become perhaps secularists. And but this stigma on them that they've had beat up their own classmate might stay on. So I would agree with the position of the NCPC at the moment, not to stigmatize the girl with, not to, I mean, sort of hurt the boy by showing him on the media, because it's a huge insult. It's a huge humiliation. It's a huge scar on him, and he cannot live up to it, because once it is frozen, it can be played after 5 years, after 10 years, after 15 years, and this can cause a huge damage to him. So I would think that it is quite acceptable that the NCPCR has taken a stand that don't show this. But I do not know what the other statements are of the NCPCR, of how it would like to proceed on the matter, because there's a lot that has to be done on this issue.
Right. Let me actually ask you, ma'am, what is the most urgent thing that should happen vis-a-vis the teacher?
I would think that she has to be removed. It doesn't need to have a suspension. It doesn't need to have an inquiry. It is so obvious on the statement that she made that she has to be removed and punished severely for the statement that she's made. As a teacher, and it's not just the police criminalizing. I think she has to be removed as a teacher for good by the education department. She does not qualify to be a teacher at all. This is one thing. But at the same time, I would think, if I were again the chair, this is not a standalone incident at all. It cannot be just this teacher and this school. We know how vicious the atmosphere is, how religion has become weaponized. And today you see how it has become so weaponized, so normalized, that it's become a daily practice also. So one will have to think of a kind of a audit, like you have social audit, a communal audit. There are in many countries, there are race audit of institutions to find out the practices they have. I think we will have to do a communal audit of all schools in the state to see whether there has been weaponizing of religion and how vulnerable the Muslim children are.
Let me ask you something. Before we come to an exercise like an auditing of all schools. In this particular case, you said the teacher must be removed from the school ASAP. But that's just one part of what should happen in terms of the law, in terms of child protection rights. What is she culpable of, in your opinion? And there are people who are talking about applying POXO. There are people who are talking about other laws. What law do you think applies in this context, Ms. Sinha?
In this context, very clearly the Right to Education Act says that no child should be subject to any form of discrimination or punishment, and this is a severe form of aggravated form of a corporal punishment. But the law is really criminalizing through a police action. But I think the more important law is that she shall not be a teacher again at all. She has to be disqualified as a school teacher by the education department, and say that she can never play a role as a teacher. That is not casted in law, but I think that is what has to be done immediately. remove her and never allow her to be a school teacher. You know, she
Never allow her. I absolutely agree. Like, it's
never
just so
allow her to
disturbing.
be. I do not
You
know if
know,
there is a law. There's no law on this, but then this is the action that has to be taken. She does
yeah,
not deserve to be a teacher at all. And in the, or, I mean, I think she has to be removed immediately. And that
yeah,
removal can happen only through the education department. They have to give a
right.
statement and say this is totally unacceptable. You can't do this.
Yeah, I think that's important. The police has spoken, but the education department in Uttar Pradesh must speak as well. Everybody must speak. This is horrifying. Mr. Jain, I want you to come in. On the police, the police has, of course, said on record in two different statements that investigations are on, action will be taken. And in fact, they've done this suo moto. They've done this even when the father of the victim had not decided whether to file an official complaint or not. Now, one can understand that the father may be scared. As I said, the father has actually told ANI that he does not want this to be framed in Hindu-Muslim terms. He's saying ki shanti hai, but he is accusing the teacher of torturing his child. That much is clear. That much is on record. What would be the role of the police, Mr. Jain, at this point?
Is doing its role. I have examined it. They have registered a case under section 323 and 504 against a lady teacher, and it is under investigation. Uh, BSA has been told by district magistrate also. I had seen the bite of district magistrate and SSP that thorough inquiry should be there. BSA has come on record to say that the school was given affiliation in 2019, and after that the status has to be seen whether it has been it means that school is running illegally, and then action shall be taken against a teacher, against a school owner. She is in fact running the school from her house, from a big hall, and she is the owner of the school. And she is, I think, as I have been told, as I have heard, she's some invalid lady. So she is running the school from a hall which is situated at her residence. So she is the owner, she is the manager, she is the proprietor and principal, whatever you can say. So naturally, there is no point in sacking her. If decision is taken by BSA that the school is being run illegally, then it should be closed down, and other children, in my opinion, should be accommodated in other schools so that their studies don't suffer. And police is seized on the matter. Let me tell you one thing. Because the video was made, that's why it has gained so much of publicity. When we were small, we used to be at times. मैं बहुत शैतान था बचपन में. I used to get beating from Christian teachers also, from Muslim also, from Hindu also. Class monitor used to say कि साहब आप all sorts of corporal punishments were there, but never an issue was made. It's very unfortunate that we are staying in a country which has become highly communal. And let me tell you one thing: Muzaffarnagar and Shamli, these two places are very highly communal. You know, there was a riot in Muzaffarnagar, Shamli, a very bad riot. People don't want repetition of that. People don't want that there should be any trouble, but at the same time, they want that action should be taken against this lady.
Mr. Jain, if I may interrupt, even I am among those who certainly, in our time in school, physical punishment was accepted. Now, of course, the norms of it have changed, but there is one difference, and the difference is that in this video, see, there are two different debates. One is a debate around corporal punishment. That is one debate. The other debate is, has this child been singled out for his religion? Now, his father does not want to frame it in Hindu-Muslim terms, and I want to quote that. That is what the father has said to ANI. But equally, both the police statement and the teacher's own statement suggest that the child, there was a broad generalization made about one religious community. And therefore, both debates apply here, Mr. Jain. Wouldn't you agree?
I 100% agree with you. She has said I have seen her video also कि मैंने ये
Yes.
कहा कि मुस्लिम जो मामाएं हैं वो मामाओं के यहाँ ना चली जाएं, बच्चों के मामाओं के यहाँ बच्चों को लेके ना चली जाएं, उससे उनकी पढ़ाई वो होती है. She is not supposed to make such statements, and I don't know whether she has the habit of speaking like this in terms of Hindu Muslim, but it is not acceptable in a civilized society, and action should be taken against her. Police is seized of the matter, BSA is seized of the matter, DM, SSP, they are seized of the matter, and I think they will take action because they would not like any trouble in a communally sensitive place like Muzaffarnagar. I know several people from Mirapur because I belong to Meerut, but and they all criticize it that such an incident should not have taken place. Our district has unnecessarily got bad publicity. They all condemn it and they want action against her, and
Yeah.
action is being taken against her.
And the important point you also make is that the illegality of the school also has to be examined.
Yes,
Whether this
yes.
whether whether this lady has an ownership in the school has to be examined. So it may not be enough to only act against the teacher alone, and that's an important point. I know, Shanta Sena, you were wanting to respond to some of the points Mr. Jain made, but give me a second. Let me get the other two in, and I'll come back to you. Rahul, you were anguished today on Twitter. I want you to share your thoughts. Rahul Ishwar.
Barkhaji, I have a son of that age. His name is Yag. He's around 6. So, it pains me when, beyond anything, it pains me as a human being, as an Indian, to see such a video. It is horrifying and spine chilling. 2 or 3 points. One, I'm not a secularist. I'm a Hindu activist coming from the Brahmin community who works for Hindu community. But this is rank Islamophobia from the face of it. Why should we shy away from saying this? See, the whole point is, why should there be a spin? I have seen many of my good right-wing friends trying to spin, saying that teacher is handicapped. So if teacher is handicapped, would she invite other people to, or other boys to slap one boy? And she has been, evidently saying regarding the Mohammadan children too. I don't know what is the spin that is going to be given. And with due respect to all our agencies, many people don't want the video out because deep inside we feel ashamed and we feel guilty. And beyond any child protection thing, it is the inner shame and inner guilt that prompts them, let the video not go viral or let the video be taken down. I think these are the things I would urge my right-wing friends, my right-wing co-fellow travelers to say that wrong is wrong. Beyond trying to spin, beyond trying to justify, beyond trying to say all the sort of things that needs to cover up, let us be honest in saying this. There is one very bad incident, just like the Manipur horrifying video that came. This was a horrifying video because for any parent, it is painful. And one more thing, teacher, of course, I agree with all the earlier panelists saying teachers should not be allowed to continue a profession. The school should be having some kind of a license check, but she should be arrested. She should be arrested on charges of, on one, the corporal punishment, second, abusing children, third, and also on a sort of hate crime from the face of it. Yes, more inquiry needs to be there. The right hashtag should be arrest her, arrest Tripta Tyagi, and we shouldn't shy away from saying this. And I urge my fellow Hindu travelers and right-wingers also to say this. This will enhance our credibility only. Otherwise, we'll be end up justifying every anti-Islam and Islamophobic incident in our nation in the guise of something. So please let us be honest about it. This is absolutely wrong. We all have children. Any parent would be sad and horrifying. And I was advising my wife Deepa, she's carrying not to see the video, not because of anything else. I don't know how it will impact her. So let us be honest about it.
So you're saying, Rahul, that your wife who's expecting a child, you don't want her to see this video.
Yeah, this video, because I saw this video at 10:30 yesterday, 10:30 or 11. I was disturbed for the whole night. See, because we have all been to that space. It's a small 7-year-old, 8-year-old child. So we should have that sense of being Indian or being human or compassion, whatever you want to call it, and don't cover it up. If there is a rot inside, let us be honest about it. Yes, we have strands of chauvinism and Islamophobia inside us. Let us cleanse about it. We should be honest about addressing our issues rather than covering it up.
Now, one of the things important that Rahul has said is that he's not a secularist as he uses the word. He's a Hindu activist, but he sees rank Islamophobia in this. Asad, what's important to say is that the father is hesitant. The father was hesitant about filing a case. Maybe he was scared. We don't know. He's finally filed a case, by the way. I should update that the father, who initially did not want to file an official police complaint, Mr. Jain, you would also be interested in knowing that FIR has been filed. But what happens now? Because the child has been withdrawn from the school. But as Mr. Jain says, maybe the school shouldn't be allowed to run at all. Asad?
Yes.
Can we unmute Asad, please? Yeah, go ahead, Asad. Yeah. All right. I'm sure Asad will be able to join us. Let me bring in Shanta Sinha back again. Shanta, ma'am, you were wanting to say
No, no,
something. Can we? Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
I just want to, stand corrected. I didn't say that the video should not be shown. What I meant was the faces of the children should be blurred, and that is what act or says. So one does not say that you don't show the video. I mean, we all show videos of children, but you blur the face. So that, and otherwise, the issue will not get the kind of visibility and shock and outrage that it should actually get. So I would say that in the interest of the child, you blur the face of the child, but it certainly has to be shown. It is a point of discussion, it's a point of public debate and discourse, it's a point of taking sides. And also perhaps converting somebody who is communal, saying, look, this is what is happening, and now you see the truth. So I just thought that I should stand corrected. And
So
this,
that's a very important point. You're saying as long as the identity of the child is protected, the video should be shown, what is being said in the video. So, I have to say we wrestled with this all morning before this show. I wanted to actually play out at least the audio of what was being said, because it's very different to hear it with your own eyes and ears and very different to hear it summarized. And then we were so unsure whether we were legally on strong, firm ground after the guidelines from the child rights panel that we chose not to. Now you are saying blur the face of the child, but the
right.
country must see and hear this video, right, Shanta Sinha, ma'am? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. That exactly, and that is legally permissible as well. And I think people should know, should talk about it, should be
That's
open about it, and take sides on the issue. And you have to expose, and this is really horrific. And at least you will have to have the courage to look at the truth and say that, look, we will have to correct it. And how else will you do it if you didn't show an evidence that this is what is exactly happening in a school? And about children, about school teachers. School is the place where you harmonize societies, where you
yeah.
talk about
I,
democracy.
I am heartened that you have said, because I personally feel that throwing a complete blanket cover over what has happened actually sanitizes what has happened. And in the age of social media, this is a kind of, I agree 100% that the child's identity should be protected. But I think you can cover the faces of the parents, you can cover the faces of the child, and you can still at least allow people to hear what this teacher is saying. Now, I want to just play out, and Asad will try and connect with you after that, what the district magistrate has said. Mr. Jain said that the authorities are doing their job. They have swung into action. And I think Rahul Ishwar said, arrest this lady. And there are enough, points of law that apply here, including causing communal disharmony. I'll come to Mr. Jain right after that, but let's hear what the district magistrate in Muzaffarnagar had to say. Just one second.
कल आप सब लोग जानते हैं कि नेहा पब्लिक स्कूल ये प्राइवेट स्कूल है, कब्बूपुर गांव का, थाना मंसूरपुर के अंतर्गत कल शाम से वीडियो वायरल हो रहा है। इसके संबंध में इंक्वायरी की गई। इसमें इंक्वायरी में ये सामने आई कि जो ये एक नेहा पब्लिक स्कूल प्राइवेट स्कूल है, और जो वीडियो वायरल किया गया उनका बच्चे का चचेरे भाई है। तो इसके बाद उनसे जो माता पिता है, जब उनसे प्रशासन द्वारा अप्रोच किया गया पुलिस प्रशासन द्वारा, तो उन्होंने FIR करने के लिए तहरीर देने के लिए तो एग्री नहीं थे। तो फिर सुबह ये डेवलपमेंट हुआ कि सुबह उन्होंने थाने में तहरीर दे दी गई और तहरीर दर्ज भी हो गया है। ये सूचना देनी थी। इसके अतिरिक्त बाल कल्याण समिति होती है ज़िले में, चाइल्ड वेलफेयर कमेटी होती है, तो इसके तहत कमेटी द्वारा उनकी बच्चे को और उनके माता पिताओं को, स्पेशली बच्चों को, उनको काउंसलिंग किया गया है और काउंसलिंग चल रही है ताकि बच्चों को इन पर कोई ये ना हो। और इसमें जो क्योंकि तहरीर दर्ज हो गई, आगे कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी एंड बेसिक शिक्षा विभाग द्वारा अलग से भी कार्रवाई चल रही है। इसमें जो तहरीर दिया गया, सारे जो तहरीर दिया गया था उनकी माता पिता द्वारा, वो सारी तहरीर दर्ज कर ली गई। मौके पर प्रशासन लग गई। मौके पे देखिए, इसमें शांति व्यवस्था बनाने के लिए जो अधिकारी वो लगे हुए हैं। एंड इसके अतिरिक्त ये भी कहना है कि JJ एक्ट के अंतर्गत बच्चे का नाम और उनका ये करना, रिवील करना मना है, क्योंकि इसमें उनके बच्चे की मानसिकता पे पड़ती है। सभी से अनुरोध है कि इसकी एक्ट का गरिमा में ही रहे एंड आप सभी एंड जो बाल कल्याण समिति द्वारा इसको काउंसलिंग करके आगे कार्रवाई कर चल रही है।
कोई मुजफ्फरनगर वासी कोई किस तरह की अपील सर?
सभी से मुजफ्फरनगर वासियों से यही अपील है कि इसमें शांति व्यवस्था बना रखें एंड इस पे आगे धैर्य दर्ज होगी, आगे कानूनी कार्रवाई सख्त से सख्त कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। थैंक यू।
The magistrate, district magistrate there confirming that all applicable sort of laws have been applied in this particular case. The parents' testimony has been recorded, once again urging the media to not do anything that gives away the identity of the child. So I do have to say that I don't see the administration trying to protect this teacher, to protect the school in any way. I think the police has swung into action, and that is indeed to be welcomed. Mr. Jain, I want to bring you in. Asad, I'm sorry, your line is just not stable. I'll make another attempt after I speak to Mr. Jain. Mr. Jain, let's bring you in. I want to bring you in. Shanta Sinha made the point that, look, let's apply the law on properly. The country needs to hear and see the video. The child's identity can be protected. Do you agree with that, sir?
Yes, you can do it. She is absolutely correct. My perception of law is that face should be blurred, and then videos are shown on all channels. It can be shown, and but I salute people of Muzaffarnagar, Shamli, and district administration. They are seized of the matter and they are taking action. People are satisfied over there. I talked to certain people, and they say, no, we will not allow any sort of disharmony in our district because of one foolish statement or one foolish act of a lady teacher. So they are absolutely correct. And district magistrate, let me tell you, even I have been SSP in 9 districts. The SSP DM, they have vast powers and they will take action, and they will so moto take action, and they will not spare any guilty person. And we should have faith in them. And honestly, very provocative statements I am seeing are being given by senior leaders regarding this statement. This is, in my opinion, not desirable. Otherwise, on every statement, on every act, such statements will start coming. They should be given a time, DM, SSP, BSA, and stern action. Even Hindus are demanding that this is not done. In our district, it is not done, and action should be taken against her. And BSA is seized of the issue, and I think affiliation of that school might be revoked. But my request will be that other children and this boy also should be accommodated in other schools so that their studies don't suffer.
Absolutely. Asad, I want to make an attempt to see if we can get you in. Go ahead, Asad, and then Rahul. Asad? Yeah.
Yes, Barkha, a very important point I'd like to bring to your notice. I am what I am today is because of my great teachers. To me, this incident tends to question the term Guru Devo Bhava. I'm sure the student there is scarred for life. We must understand who is a teacher. A teacher is somebody with great power, with equal responsibility and accountability. To me, I feel absolutely let down. The fact of the matter, we need to understand here is, Barkha, very, very importantly, that when we speak of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Vikas, where is the Vishwas here? Politics of hate which is being practiced. We're all hurt, aren't we? We need to understand that Hindu, Muslim, Bhai, Bhai, that is the only way to go ahead. A teacher laying a seed in the heart of any student or mind is going to damage them. We need to understand the way forward is to set such an example that this kind of an incident does not take place ever against the city of this country. Also, we need to understand that this was happened, shocked the world. And the last submission I'd like to make, Barkha, is that na Hindu bura hai, na Musalman bura hai. Jo karta burai, wo insan bura hai. We need to stop the politics of hate, politics of religion. We need to understand that we Indians are together in this, and we will fight those who tend to divide us of the matter. We need to be one and have no such incidents ever affect this unity and diversity to which the beautiful motherland of country India stands for. And we are always taught Hubbul Watan, the love for the country, the love for the people, the love for every religion and every aspect. If that is not there, we lose the ethos of our country. To me, I truly believe that Narendra Modi ji must and should personally make a statement and say that united we stand, divided we fall. No teacher whatsoever. Mr. Modi ji speaks of his friend Abbas, who's a namesake of mine. What happened about that? We need to question that too. The fact of the matter that any political party, be it the BJP, the Congress, Samajwadi Party in UP, this needs to stop. We are together as Indians, we are united, and we will love our country and salute our country. This negative incident must be converted into positivity where all of us unite, condemn this institute, also take an action against that particular teacher, without which
Let me
it
pick
is
up that
just going
last
to
point.
tear apart.
Yeah, I think this is one of those rare conversations where everybody agrees. Everybody agrees, and that's the point, Rahul, that Asad is making. That perhaps from this horror can come some sort of consensus, some sort of rallying point. And Rahul, I want to bring you in because I want to remind our audience what you said. You said you are a Hindu activist, but you are a fan of the Prime Minister, but you're horrified by what's happened, and you are basically saying, not in my name, not in my religion's name. This is not what we stand for. And you are saying this is rank Islamophobia and it has to be called out for what it is, even if the family is hesitant to frame it in those terms. Rahul Ishwar, go
I
ahead.
mean, I really respect the family and father for saying this. I really admire. I mean, that is his duty. And it is my duty as a Hindu to say it is Islamophobia. See, I know I still remember Barkhaji interviewing the son of Sartaj. I was in that space when he said, Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara. You had tears in your eyes. I had tears in my eyes. See, it is his responsibility, even when his father is dead, to maintain that sense of balance and equilibrium. And it is our responsibility to say, either not in my
Sartaj,
name.
I just want to explain. I just want to explain that Sartaj is the son of Muhammad Akhlaq, who was, of course, lynched to death in Dadri. Go ahead. And he's with the Air Force. Yes.
And when Barkhaji rightly asked, how do you feel about India? He said, "Sare jaise se Hindustan hamara." See, I was pained more than anything when he said that. See, our country is a great country. UP is a great state. I have been there at least twice in the past 1 year on invitation of the people there. I was once invited for Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagawatji's program and then for UP government education program. I seriously feel UP is doing well. We are all proud of UP. At the same point of time, we should not be covering up bad incidents. We should not be covering up negative incidents. We should be able to honestly admit that we are having strands of Islamophobia, we are having strands of Muslim otherization that will only enhance us as a nation. We should be honest in acknowledging our issues. And there are issues, there are community fault lines. We need to heal them. Only when we acknowledge them, we will be able to heal them. And anybody with kids, or anybody even without kids, will be infuriated and irritated. They'll be frustrated about this whole incident. So I urge everyone to see this video. Like ma'am earlier said, blur the faces, let us protect their identities. It is an issue that we should talk about, we should address, we should have a campaign on. And I would urge both right and left to bury the hatchet and bury the differences and come together on this, because this is a cancer. This hatred will be a cancer in every nation's soul, not only India. We need to heal that kind of hatred. We need to heal that kind of thing. And as you rightly said, I'm no secularist. I've been in jail for Sabrimala protest. I've been carrying Hindu cause for the past 15 to 16 years as a Hindu activist. See, we should be able to identify some spaces of dharma, righteousness, ethics beyond religion in these kind of things. And I hope this will be a rallying point for all of us.
Thank you for that, both Rahul and Asad. You really both spoke from your heart. I want to give last words now to both Mr. Jain and Ms. Sinha. Shantaji, to you first. You heard the district magistrate that all principles of law that apply, all the statutes are being looked at, and this will include many different sections. We already know there's Section 323, which is punishment for voluntarily causing hurt. There's 504, which is intentional hurt with intent to breach the peace and amity. Go ahead, Shantaji. You said the teacher should be disqualified. Mr. Jain added to that by saying it's not just the teacher, the entire school needs to be examined.
No, I would like to sort of not see this as an isolated incident of school teacher that is illegal and therefore this is happening. I think we will have to put it in the context of what is happening in the country as a whole. I am all for peace, I'm all for harmony, I'm all for healing, I'm all for all of us, sabka saath, sabka vikas. But let us not be blind to the fact that there is something very wrong happening in the country and there is this tension. We should all work together to see that there is a harmonizing and resolving of these conflicts. Let us not say that it doesn't exist, rather than say that yes, it exists, but what do we do to bring peace, bring harmony? And here again, I should say that we must have a proper audit of every school on what is
Yeah.
happening in the practices in the school. That it's fine. It's fine to say let's live happily together, but that's not the way to do it. You have to go concretely and resolve each issue layer by
Yeah.
layer. And it's in that process only that we can build peace and harmony. So let me
Okay.
say that this is not an isolated incident. It is
Yeah.
happening everywhere. It is maybe not in this fashion, but more subtle fashion, and we will have to be aware of it and see that it is resolved.
Arvind Kumar Jain, the last word to you. You have heard from both the district magistrate and the UP police. You believe that they've taken all the measures that they need to. What's the one thing that you think visibly needs to happen? Something that you think should be the priority right now of the local administration.
One thing I would like to say that Mr. Modi, Mr. Yogi, they should be brought in this. It's a incident for district level, and I'm sure the district authority they will take action. This lady will face music, and they should be given time and incident. Muzaffarnagar people, they don't want to get involved in this Hindu Muslim rut again, and the district is prospering. I'm their neighbor. I know very well. I have so many acquaintances in Muzaffarnagar, Shamli, and these districts, and action will be taken. 100% action will be taken, and police is determined about it that this kind of nonsense will not be tolerated, and the communal atmosphere of the district would not be allowed to be vitiated because of a foolish statement of a foolish person.
Okay.
Barkha, can I make a quick point, please? 10 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, Asad, I was going to close, but go ahead.
Yes, with all due respect to Mr. Jain, I truly our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji must and should intervene because when he said Thali bajao, sabhi thali bajate hain. When he says Har Ghar Tiranga, very proudly we have a flag because this man, people here, I think if there is a sort of a politics of it, there must be a politics of love too. We need people who unite. We need talks of unison, unlike others. I take great pride, Barkhaji, when I think of my teachers. I learned the Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhurbhuvarenyam, Bhargo Deva Sadhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. I quote from the Bhagavad Gita, from the great Bhagavad Gita, in all my keynote speeches and lectures. This is what my teachers
Okay.
taught me. And if a teacher in UP is able to bring such hate, there must be teachers, there must be Honorable Prime Minister, there must be all the political leaders who must speak of
Okay.
unity and not division, no hate, only love.
Two differing perspectives there. I'm going to give, I keep trying to say that this is the last word, but this really is the last word. Rahul Ishwar, one thing we haven't spoken about is the teacher in a way taking refuge. And it's a slightly cruel thing to say. Uh, this is, I don't know who she has said this to. Okay, then we have a statement from this teacher. Can we just listen to this teacher for a moment? Let's just listen in
ये
as her explanation.
वायरल जो है छेड़छाड़ करके वायरल की गई है ये वीडियो और इसमें जो है जो मैंने बात कही थी वो सारी बात काट दी गई बस इसमें तो एक मोमडन वर्ड रखा था एक ही वर्ड रख दिया जिससे कि हम मोमडन्स को उकसा दें तो मैंने भी एक गलती की कि बच्चों को इस तरह से बच्चों से नहीं पिटवाना चाहिए था और वो मैंने इंटेंशनली ये मेरा इंटेंशन नहीं था क्योंकि मैं विकलांग हूँ मेरे से उठा नहीं जा रहा था तो बच्चे को कंट्रोल करने के लिए बच्चे की शिक्षा अच्छी तरह से चलाने के कुछ तो कदम उठाना ही पड़ता है तो बच्चों से मैंने एक दो बच्चों से लगवा दिए थे बस मेरा तो यही वो रहा वैसे मेरा इंटेंशन ये नहीं था
वीडियो में आपने बताया कि छेड़छाड़ की गई
हाँ वीडियो में छेड़छाड़ की गई है एक मोमडन वर्ड तो रखा है मैंने जो बोला था वो मैं आपको बता रही हूँ लाइन मैंने ये कहा था कि जितनी भी मोमडन माएँ हैं वो अपने बच्चों को लेकर मामा के यहाँ मत जाएं क्योंकि एग्ज़ाम शुरू होने वाले हैं और क्या नाम है मेरी पढ़ाई में बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान होगा क्योंकि बच्चे एग्ज़ाम नहीं दे पाएंगे
तो आप कितना सही मानते हैं जिस तरीके से आपने बच्चों से पिटाई किया था इस छात्र?
मैं सही नहीं मानती इस चीज़ को, लेकिन मैं भी थोड़ी मजबूर थी। बच्चे को थोड़ा सा कंट्रोल करने के लिए, बच्चों को शिक्षा देने के लिए थोड़ा बहुत कदम तो हल्का फुल्का तो करना ही पड़ता है, टाइट करने के लिए। क्योंकि उनके पेरेंट्स की भी यही डिमांड थी कि इस बच्चे को थोड़ा सा टाइट करो।
किस तरह की डिमांड थी?
उन्होंने बस ये कहा था कि बच्चे को टाइट करो, ये याद नहीं करता, थोड़ा सा टाइट करो। आप बिल्कुल टाइट नहीं करते इनको।
Okay. That is the mother's statement to Raj Satta Post. We thank them for bringing that video into the public domain. Personally, I think it's a ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous statement, Rahul. And I just want to give you the last word. I mean, I was going to say to hide behind your special needs, your disability, and to justify hate. The fact is that even when you're explaining it, you're saying Muslim mothers do not look after their children well, right? It's a ridiculous statement. Rahul, last word to you.
Yeah, just two submissions. One, total respect for her if he is a Divyang, differently abled, total respect for her. But having said that, one, what is the logic of making people slap on the face of a boy? Is it to discipline? Second, no, there is a limit to lying, right? I mean, we all have basic intelligence. It's not that we are all non-intelligent people. We understand what she did, what she said, and how did she use the word Mohammadan? She said, oh, galti ho gayi, bachon se pitwaya, wo galti ho gayi. See, let us be honest. If you have a problem, let us be honest that it is a problem and we should be open about it. And now please don't give a spin that you did it so that Muslim students will get better education. Please, that would be the last thing anybody's brains would like to hear.
I think we cannot add insult to injury, and that is really what that statement tries to do. Thank you very much to Asad Abbas, to Arvind Kumar Jain, to Shanta Sinha, and to Rahul Ishwar, and to our audience for watching. This has been a difficult conversation. We've tried to hold it with as much sensitivity and fairness as we can. But I think, as Rahul Ishwar says, it's when you see a spade, you have to call a spade a spade. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.